Welcome back. All right, so 10 games tonight in the National Hockey League, and this is the busiest night I'm going to have till October. So I say that because on Saturday there are 13 games, but there's not 10 evening games, and next week the busiest nights are 8-game nights, so not too shabby. All right, we're going to start things off talking about the Washington Capitals, the Buffalo Sabres. This is my Olmark jersey, which I got for the Buffalo team store. I was talking about that in the jersey video I made the other day, and I was like, yeah, I need to wear that again. So the Capitals and the Sabres. Caps, of course, needing to win this one. Lots of points handed out to teams they're fighting with tonight. It was Lindgren versus Luukkonen. The Caps pressed 4 minutes in. The only shot on net was by Buffalo 5 minutes in. So Buffalo is doing a good job of matching Washington's style of play. Low event hockey. Buffalo's like, fine. Shots were one apiece 9 minutes in. Sabres press with 9 minutes left. The Capitals get some pressure with 6.5 minutes left. Alexiev has a screenshot that's held. Sabres press with 2.5 minutes left. Eventually they score. Benson deflects one 5-hole. Skinner and Krebs with the assist at 19 minutes. So after the first period, it's 1-0 Buffalo. Despite them being outshot badly. So they're really playing Washington's game in this one. Second period, shots are 2-1 Sabres, 2 minutes in. Clifton has a chance to deflects out. Sabres press. They're kept to the outside. The shots were 5-1 Sabres at 8.5 minutes. At 12:37 on his own entry, they do a tic-tac-toe play. Tuck scores from Jokiharju and Thompson. That 2-goal lead doesn't last. At 14:36, Connor McMichael answers from Pacioretty and Carlson. Wilson then fires one high from the slot. The Caps press in the final minute, but it's 2-1 Sabres after 2. Third period. Early power play for Buffalo. Paterka fires one high during that. That power play is killed off. Shots are 2-1 Buffalo, 3.5 minutes in. Capitals press at 5 minutes. There's more pressure by the Capitals at 7 minutes, but at 9:46, Jack Quinn makes it a 2-goal lead. He scores from Clifton and Greenway on a 3-on-2 rush. Mallenstein then has a rush that's defended. The Caps press with 4 minutes left. Eventually they pull the goalie, and Dylan Cousins hits the empty net. Greenway and Jokiharju with the assists at 17:43. So Jokiharju with a couple of assists tonight. At 19 minutes, Capitals pulled the goalie again. They do score 6-on-5. Wilson scores this one from Oshie and Ovechkin. And then at the horn, it's kind of brawly, and there were a couple of good fights at the horn. Sometimes Department of Player Safety weighs in on those. I don't think they will, but kind of a fun way to end the game. Buffalo wins this one 4-2. They go to 38, 37, and 5. But they hurt the Caps' chances. Caps 37, 31, and 11 with the loss. Shots on net 11-5 Capitals in the first. 6-4 Buffalo in the second. 9-6 Washington in the third. Final shots 24-17 for Washington. There were no power plays for the Caps. There was one for Buffalo. They did not score on it. Hits 34-23 Washington. Lindgren saved 13 out of 16. Luukkonen 22 saves on 24 shots. All right, next up, the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Florida Panthers. You'll notice the Tony the Tiger magnet. It was Greaves versus Bobrovsky in this one, and 47 seconds in, Florida scores. It's Matthew Tkachuk from Ekman Larson and Cousins. 3.5 minutes in, the shots are 3-2 for Florida. Werenski's then denied on a rush. Lundell has a chance that's saved. Olivier and Lundell were unfriendly because that can happen. Kulikov has a shot that's kicked aside. We get a power play for Florida. That's killed off. With 9 minutes left, the shots are 9-2 for the Panthers. Columbus presses with 7 minutes left. Corrali has a shot that's blocked as they press. But yeah, pretty good period overall. 1-0 lead for Florida after one. Second period, Panthers press at 3.5 minutes. Kulikov has a wrister. That's saved. The shots 5 minutes in are actually 2-1 Columbus. We get a power play for the Blue Jackets. That's killed off. The shots are 9-4 for the Panthers with 8 minutes left. Columbus has a 2-on-1 that's broken up. And then at 17:25, Rodriguez scores from Lundell and Luostarinen. They followed that up at 19:06 with a goal by Reinhart, Barkov, and Ekman Larson with the assists. So Columbus looks to respond, but they're down 3-0 after 2. Third period, good early flow, and it was really about no whistles, just get that clock down and get the game done. Panthers press at 4.5 minutes. In fact, the shots are 4-0 in their favor 7 minutes in. Panthers press at 9 minutes. They were really controlling the third, and with 5:39 left, the Panthers get a power play. That's killed off, but that's 2 more minutes off the clock. And then at 17:43, Tarasenko scores from Gustav Forsling, and that would be the last goal of the game. Your finals 4-0. Florida wins their 50th of the season. They're 50-24-6. They keep their hopes for a division title alive. For Columbus, 26-42 and 12 with the loss. Shots on net favored Florida the whole way through. 13-7 in the first, 16-10 in the second, 17-8 in the third. Final shots 46-25 for Florida. Power plays Columbus 0 for 1. Florida 0 for 2. The hits 38-16 for Columbus because they didn't have the puck. Greaves saves 42 out of 46. He's honestly been pretty good this run. Bobrovsky 25 saves for the shutout. So yeah, pretty important game for Florida. Obviously Columbus out of the hunt, and sometimes this is how that turns out. Next up, Philadelphia and the Rangers. Who saw this coming? Seriously, after that 9-3 drubbing against Montreal, I will say that I did a video like a few years ago looking at after really lopsided losses, how teams fare. They usually do pretty well. Usually that lopsided loss, it embarrasses them and they play better. And I think that's what we saw here. It's Harrison versus Quick, and Philadelphia would score at 4:21. It's Cam York from Konechny. Not a lot of shooting opportunities. The shots were only 2-0 for the Flyers, 5 minutes in. Rangers press at 6 minutes. The Flyers press at 7.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Rangers. That becomes 4-on-4. Everything ends up being killed off there. The shots are 8-5 for Philly with 8 minutes left. Flyers get a power play. Does it suck? Yep. 3:37 left. The Flyers get a power play. That becomes a 5-on-3. They score during the 5-on-3. You can't give them that. Panarin scores from Fox and Zibanejad at 18:19. We then get a shorthanded rush by Konechny during the 5-on-4. The Flyers do kill that, so it's 1-1 after 1. Second period, near miss by Sanheim from the slot. We get a power play for the Rangers. That's killed off. And then on a rush, Bobby Brink buries one, Paling with the assist at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. The shots are 3-2 for the Rangers at 5 minutes, but the Flyers get a power play. Does it suck? Well, yeah, it's a Flyers power play, so it didn't score. Rangers press at 9.5 minutes. We end up with 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Rangers press again with 2 minutes left, but at 19:13, Konechny scores from Paling to make it 3-1, and then there's some pushing and punching at the horn. So the Flyers have a full power play to start the third period out of that. It doesn't score because it's the Flyers power play, so it's not allowed to. There's a net feed to Trocheck, misses there. Flyers with the lone shot on net 4.5 minutes in, and at 5:56 on a net drive, Noah Cates, who's had a good run the second half of the season, or at least lately, he scores from Couturier and Sanheim to make it 4-1. Rangers press to respond. The shots are 3-2 for the Flyers at 9 minutes. The Flyers press with 7 minutes left, and honestly, there wasn't a lot that happened in that third period for the Rangers. The Flyers, the shot suppression, this would have impressed Carolina. The shot suppression was that good. The Flyers win 4-1. They go to 37, 32, and 11. They keep their playoff hopes alive. For the Rangers, 53, 23, and 4. So the President's Trophy race is not done. The shots on net, 12-9 Rangers in the first, 11 apiece in the second, 7-2 Flyers in the third. Final shots, 27-25 for the Flyers. As I said in the comment section to somebody on the channel here today, I really think it's that you're dealing now with more desperate teams if you're the Rangers. So they don't have that air of desperation to their game that the Flyers would have here. Flyers really needed the win. Power plays 0 for 4 for Philly because it isn't any good. The Rangers went 1 for 4. The hits 18-17 for the Rangers. Ersson saves 24 out of 25. Jonathan Quick, 23 saves on 27 shots. All right, next up. Detroit and Pittsburgh. This was crazy. It's an 80s game. I also opted to go with the throwback magnets here for the old NHL logo for that because that's what it had. That's what they had for the logo in the 80s. Lyon versus Nedeljkovic. The Penguins said they scored, and there was no signal at the time, so they do a review, and yeah, it's a goal. It's O'Connor from Rust and Crosby at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but 59 seconds later, Detroit answers. It's Raymond, who's had a ridiculous run lately. He scores from DeBrincat, 1-1 tie. We get a power play for the Penguins. That's killed off. The Penguins won for their last 18 at that stage. They would get one more power play in this game. It didn't connect either, so they're 1 for their last 19. Shots are 5-3 for the Wings at 8.5 minutes. We get a power play for Detroit. That's killed off. Pressed by the Penguins with 5.5 minutes left. Eventually they score. It's Chris Letang from Bunting and Raquel at 15 minutes. Penguins then press with 2.5 minutes left. But on a turnover rush, Raymond scores from DeBrincat at 19:46. It's 2-2 after 1. Second period, shots are 2-1 for Detroit, 2.5 minutes in. We have a post for David Perron. Wings press at 6.5 minutes. At 7:58, Crosby gives Penguins the lead. Again, this is their third lead. Rust and Smith with the assists. The Wings press to respond. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. And then at 12:44, Rust scores from Smith. We get a power play for Detroit. There's a shorthanded O'Connor chance. That saved. They kill that power play off. Detroit managed one shot on that power play. At 19:24, Petrie makes it a little bit closer through a screen. Sider and Sprong with the assists. So after 2 periods of play, it is 4-3 in favor of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Third period, early press by the Penguins. The Wings draw a power play, and at 9:32 on a shorthanded break, Carter scores. Yep, Carter makes it 5-3. The Penguins then finish the kill. We then get a power play for the Penguins, looking to salt it away. That's killed off. And at 12:56, Larkin scores from Raymond and Compher. They follow that up at 14:53 as on a breakaway, Raymond scores from Larkin and DeBrincat. So there's your hat trick. And honestly, those guys are all playing well right now. The Wings then press for the lead, but we go to overtime because overtime was common tonight. In the overtime, the Penguins controlled early. The Wings steal, Larkin's denied, and then at 1 minute and 40 seconds, Carlson wires one from the slot for the Penguins. Crosby and Raquel with the assists. The Penguins win in overtime 6-5. They go to 37-10 and 12, or 37-30 and 12. 37-10 and 12. Not at this time of year. 37-30 and 12 for the Penguins. With the overtime loss, Detroit 38-32 and 9. Shots on net, 10-8 Detroit in the first, 10 apiece in the second, 9-7 Detroit in the third, 2-1 in the overtime for Pittsburgh. Final shots 30-27 Detroit. Power plays 0-3 for Detroit, 0-2 for Pittsburgh. The hits were 21-16 for Detroit. Lyon, another rough stat line for him, 21 saves on 27 shots, but Nedeljkovic kind of got lit up too, 25 saves on 30 shots, but it makes for an entertaining game for the fans, so can't complain. All right, next up, Ottawa and Tampa. Ottawa plays Tampa tough. I don't know what to say other than I wish they played every team this tough. They might be in a playoff spot. It's Forsberg versus Tompkins. Point is denied early on. The Bolts would press 7.5 minutes in. Not a lot of chances early. Shots are only 3-1 for Tampa 8 minutes in. And then at 8:45 on their second shot, Ottawa scores. It's Brady Tkachuk from Chychrun. But exactly a minute later, Tampa Bay answers. At 9:45, it's Sherry from Kucherov and Point. Senators would then press to answer. But at 12:36, Point scores his 45th of the season. Kucherov and Sherry with the assists. The Bolts press with 3 minutes left, but it's 2-1 Tampa Bay after 1. Second period, Sens press at 2.5 minutes. There's more pressure by them 4.5 minutes in. Point to Stamkos near miss. There's a power play for Tampa Bay. It becomes a 5-on-3, and pretty decent 5-on-3, but Ottawa does kill that off. Shots are 7-3 for Tampa Bay with 7.5 minutes left. Bolts go back to the power play. That's killed off by Ottawa as well. Batherson has a rush chance. That's held with 2:55 left. The Sens get a power play. And then with 36.5 seconds left, you get 1 second of a 5-on-3, about a second and a half. Things get punchy at the horn, and the Sens have another 5-on-3 coming out of that because Tampa Bay takes a penalty right at the horn. So we're going to the third period with the score 2-1 for Tampa with that 5-on-3. That's killed off. The Lightning finished the kill. But then at 2 minutes and 11 seconds, on a rush, Batherson buries one. Tkachuk and Shabbat with the assists. It's 2-2. The Bolts look to respond. The shots, though, were 5-1 for the Sens at 4 minutes. Power play for Tampa Bay. That's killed off. Sherry then nearly has one. It just won't go in for him. We get a power play for Ottawa. That's killed off. Tampa Bay presses in the final minute. We're going to overtime. Again, overtime kind of common tonight. Bolts controlled early. Hagel has a shot that's held. Kucherov had a rush that was defended. Then Tkachuk has a rush chance that's held right after that. Batherson's denied on a 2-on-1. There's a near miss for Stamkos. And then with 3.5 seconds left, Tampa Bay gets a power play. They're not going to score in 3.5 seconds. So you go to the shootout. Brady Tkachuk with the shootout winner. Ottawa wins this one 3-2. They go to 35-40 and 4 with the win. With the shootout loss, Tampa Bay drops to 44-27 and 8. Shots on net, 9-4 Tampa in the first, 8 apiece in the second, 12-5 Tampa in the third, 4-3 Tampa in the overtime. Final shots 27-26 Ottawa. Power plays Ottawa 0-4. Tampa Bay an uncharacteristic 0-5. Hits 39-25 for Ottawa. Forsberg saves 24-26. Tompkins saved 25 out of 27. And now I need to change boards once I hit the right button. All right, so our second 80s game of the night between New Jersey and Toronto. So it was Allen versus Samsonov. 16 seconds in, Tavares opens the scoring from Marner. And then 23 seconds later, before Leaf fans are done celebrating that one, Haula answers for New Jersey. It was going to be one of those nights for the goalies. The shots were 4-3 Toronto, 5.5 minutes in. At 6:06, Matthews scores number 67. He gets that one from Domi and Brody. It's 2-1 Toronto at that point. Leafs press at 7.5 minutes. But Nolan Foote at 7:57 ties the game once again, and then the Devils press for the lead. The Leafs score, but there's an offside challenge, so that comes off the board. We then get a power play for the Devils, and at 12:37 on the power play, Timo Meier scores from Bratt and Luke Hughes. The Leafs press to respond. There's a power play for Toronto. That's killed off. The Leafs then press in the final minute, but somehow it's 3-2 New Jersey after one period of play. Second period, a net feed to McMahon gets blocked. We get a power play for the Leafs. That's killed off. The shots were 5-0 for Toronto 4.5 minutes in. The Leafs get some pressure and they score. Matthews with a tap in for number 68, so he's going to hit 70, I think. Domi and Bertuzzi with the assists at 7:59. The Leafs press for another, and eventually they get it. At 9:16, Camp scores from Dewar. So that gives the Leafs their second lead of the game at 4-3. We then get a power play for the Devils. That's killed off. The Devils press. They're kept to the outside. And then with 1:04 left, the Devils get a power play. They score on this one as well. The penalty kill, a bit of a problem for Toronto tonight. Meier scores this one from Heischer at 19:48. So it's 4-4 after 2. Third period, Bertuzzi with a near miss and close. The Leafs press at 2.5 minutes. The Devils get some pressure at 4.5 minutes. In fact, the shots are 3-0 in their favor 5 minutes in. Nylander has a rush chance. That's defended. We then get a power play for the Devils, and they score on it. It's Jesper Bratt scoring from Luke Hughes and Meier at 11:03. Toronto, though, would answer. Tavares scores from Riley and Marner at 15:13 to make it 5-5 and make sure that 80s magnet gets on there. But at 18:46, Bratt scores unassisted to make it 6-5 for the New Jersey Devils. With 42.3 seconds left, with the goalie already pulled, it becomes a 6-on-4, but the Devils hold on. They win this one 6-5 in Toronto. They go to 38, 37, and 5 with the win. With the loss, Toronto drops to 46, 24, and 9. Shots on net, 12-7 Toronto in the first, 10-6 Toronto in the second, 10-7 Toronto in the third. Final shots 32-20 for the Leafs. Power plays, New Jersey 3-4, Toronto 0-3. The hits were 35-33 for New Jersey. So lots of shots, lots of hits. Allen saved 27 out of 32. Samsonov got an odor on that one. 14 saves on 20 shots for Samsonov. Hoping he turns that around in the next game. All right, next up. Montreal and the Islanders. So it was Montembeault versus Varlamov. The Islanders with the lone shot at 2.5 minutes. And honestly, they did a really good job tonight of not giving Montreal much room at all to get creative and get shots. Holmstrom to Nelson gets picked off. Barzal gets shaken up. The Islanders come out of that with a power play. There was a shorthanded break for Suzuki. He's denied there. And the superior numerique is killed. So there was an interesting thing that happened with Sportsnet Plus that I was watching this on. I obviously have a choice between the French feed and the English feed, so I went to the English feed and it was French. So I was like, okay, so I went to the French feed and it was English. So eventually they fixed it, so then that one turned back to French, so I went back to the English feed, which turned back to French again. So I gave up. I gave up. I was like, all right, I'll just listen to this in French. And I'm going to say numerical superiority sounds a heck of a lot better than power play. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think it sounds better. Shots were 2-1 for Montreal at 9 minutes. And again, I gave up on switching feeds right around then. Put it on the board. Engvall's denied. Montembeault holds. The Islanders press with 7.5 minutes left. The shots are 5-3 for the Islanders with 5 minutes left. But Les Buts, which is a goal, of course. Harris scores during a press by Montreal. Caulfield and Suzuki with the assists at 17:56. It is 1-0 Montreal after 1. Second period. Early press by Montreal, but the lone shot on net is for the Islanders 4 minutes in. So again, really quiet start. At 5 minutes and 17 seconds, Engvall scores to tie the game with his 10th of the season. Pelech and Riley with the assists. Islanders then press for the lead. The shots are 5-0 New York, 8.5 minutes in. 30 minutes into this game, Montreal had 5 shots. They still did not have a shot in the second period at that point. We then had a fight between Gallagher and Pajot. Pelech has a rush chance, that's saved. We have a power play for New York. Palmieri fires one wide. That power play is killed off. Engvall's then denied and close. The shots are 8-2 for the Islanders with 4 minutes left. With 11 seconds left, the Islanders go to a power play. So it's 1-1 after 2 to start the third period. The Habs finish the kill. Anderson has a rush that's saved, and then at 3:42, Caulfield scores from Kovacevic and Matheson to give Montreal their lead back. The Habs press at 5 minutes. 6 minutes in, the shots are 3 apiece. But on a wraparound, Cizikas ties it again. He scores from Pelech and Pulock at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Islanders then press at 8.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Isles. That's killed off. Islanders press with 4 minutes left. The Habs press to close it out. We're going overtime. The Islanders control early, and at 1:17 on their first shot, it's all they needed. Paul Murray buries one far corner from Brock Nelson. So the Islanders win 3-2 in overtime. They go to 37, 27, and 15. Really important they got the points tonight. They're up to 89. For Montreal, 30, 36, and 13. So the Islanders haven't clinched, but they're pretty close. Shots on net, 8-5 Islanders in the first, 14-5 Islanders in the second, 8-4 Islanders in the third. As I said earlier, they only needed one shot in the overtime to win it. Final shots, 31-14 for the Islanders. Power plays, Montreal didn't have one. They didn't have the puck enough to draw one. The Islanders 0 for 4. The hits, 22-21 Islanders. Montembeault saves 28 out of 31. Varlamov saves 12 out of 14. Not busy, but you still got some Varley chance tonight. You had to get Varley chance. That's just how that works. All right, Winnipeg and Dallas. Winnipeg's playing some of their best hockey right now. And it's weird because, just, a week and a half ago, they weren't playing well at all. I have no idea what's going to happen come playoff time. No idea. So it's Brossoit versus Ottinger. The shots are 2-1 for the Jets, 3.5 minutes in. Monahan's denied. The Jets press during that. Teams exchange rushes. The shots are 5-4 Dallas at the half. The Jets press with 8 minutes left. There's a puck behind Brossoit. Winnipeg clears it before Dallas can get to it. The Jets press with 5.5 minutes left, and at 14:51 on a nice backhander, Nick Ehlers opens the scoring. Monahan and Toffoli with the assist. That's goal number 200 in the career of Nick Ehlers. Steele then has a rush chance. That's held. The Stars press to close it out. It's 1-0 Winnipeg after one. Second period, early press by the Jets. Lundqvist has a chance. That's held. Stankoven had a break that was defended without taking a penalty. Oh, no, that's right. But Stars get a power play. So that was not the one that I was thinking of from a different game altogether. There were chances during that power play, but that's killed off. The Jets press at 6.5 minutes. Shots are 4-2 for the Stars at 9 minutes, and at 9:20, Gustafsson. It was a point shot that was tipped, and it was a screen point shot too. So Gustafsson gets the goal from Appleton and Sandberg. Ben's then denied on a rush. Tanev is a shot that's caught and held. Connors denied as the Jets press. It's 2-0 Winnipeg after two. Third period, early press by the Stars. Shots are 1 apiece at 3 minutes. Velarde has a net feed. That's picked off. The Jets are stuck at one shot for a while, right up until the empty netter, actually. Stars not getting prime chances either, though. Winnipeg playing back and very defensive. Again, it felt like a first half of the season Winnipeg game here. Power play for Dallas. That's killed off. Jets get a turn. That was killed as well. No shots. Stars press with 5 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 3:10 left, and Scheifele hits the empty net at 17:39. From Connor and Appleton. So Appleton with a couple of helpers tonight. Your final score is 3-0 for Winnipeg. Thus the Tony the Tiger Magnet. Winnipeg goes to 49-24-6. They tie the Avs in points, and they still have the division lead in their sights because Dallas 50-21-9 have not clinched it. Shots on net, 9-8 Winnipeg in the first, 13-9 Winnipeg in the second, 7-2 Dallas in the third. Final shots, 24 apiece. Power plays, both of them go 0 for 2. The hits, 34-31 Winnipeg. Brossoit, very good night for him. 24 saves on 24 shots for the shutout. Ottinger saved 21 out of 23 at the other end. Can't blame a goalie when your team gets shut out. All right, next up, San Jose and Seattle. San Jose has a chance to win 20 games this year, which, considering the start they had, is kind of miraculous. I don't think they had 20. I don't know, did they have 22 wins last year? Anyways, at any rate, they have a shot at 20 wins. It was Cooley versus Decord. Bjorkstrand has a shot that's held. It was all Seattle early in this game. Shots are 4-0 for the Kraken, 3.5 minutes in. Vlasic has a shot that's held. 6.5 minutes in, the shots are 10-3 for the Kraken. So you know what's coming. Seattle scores first. At 8:07, it's Cunnin tipping in a point shot. Thrun and Costin with the assists, but Seattle would answer. At 9:22, Dumoulin buries one on a net drive. Everly and Schwartz with the assists. Everly's been stuck on 299 goals for a while. Kraken press with 8.5 minutes left. We get a power play for San Jose. That's killed off. The Sharks press with 2 minutes left. It's 1-1 after one. Second period, power play for the Kraken. There's a near miss for Tolvanen. It's killed off. Seattle presses after. In fact, 8.5 minutes in, the shots are 11-1 for Seattle. Cooley is the reason this is staying 1-1. Kraken press with 6 minutes left. Winterton's denied and close. And then at 14:47, from the left circle, Kyle Burrows goes far corner. Eklund with the assist there. Eklund's been putting up the points, and he puts up another one less than a minute later at 15:38. It's the Lund line. Zetterlund from Granlund and Eklund. This is your scoring combination. I hope that line stays together next year. It's fun to say. It was a great pass and is buried from the slot by Zetterlund. And the arena went kind of quiet after that 3-1 goal. I think Seattle fans realized it's not happening. So we go to the third. Early press by the Sharks. Alexiak has a shot that's held. The shots are 3-0 Sharks at 3.5 minutes, meaning that Alexiak shot, I guess, wasn't considered a shot on net. We noticed that last night in the Arizona-Vancouver game. There were shots that I thought they were shots on net, but I looked at the clock and I'm like, that didn't count, apparently. So Bailey has a chance that's caught and held. We get a power play for Seattle. That's killed off. Kraken go back to the power play. There was a post for Shane Wright. That's killed off as well. 6:48 left. San Jose gets a power play. There's a shorthanded rush by Cartier that's saved. Power play's killed off. The goalie pull happens with 3:10 left. San Jose doesn't hit the empty net, but Seattle can't hit the net either. Your final score is 3-1 for San Jose. They go to 19-51-9 with the win. With the loss, the Kraken 33, 32, and 13. Lots of threes in there. Shots on net, 20-11 Seattle in the first, 14-5 Seattle in the second, 16-7 Seattle in the third. They outshot San Jose 50-23. Power plays 0 for 2 for San Jose, 0 for 3 for Seattle. Hits 37-17 San Jose. Cooley saves 49 out of 50. Decord saved 20 out of 23. So solid night for Cooley. I don't know how many of those were really dangerous opportunities, but again, it's between two teams that are out of the running, so not as exciting a game and all that. Definitely makes a difference. All right, next up, Calgary and the LA Kings. The LA Kings have clinched a playoff spot. They also now have a very good chance of finishing third in the division. And so, yeah, we'll see how things go for them. We don't know yet whether they would play Edmonton or Vancouver, but yeah, it looks like Vegas's chances of moving up in the division probably not going to happen. But we'll see. We still have games left. So it's Markstrom versus Talbot. The Kings press at 1.5 minutes. Kings press again at 5.5 minutes. Flames are blocking them out well, but we get a power play for the Kings and they score on it. At 6:48, it's Kevin Fiala. It was a slot shot past a screen. Kopitar and Kempe with the assist to make it 1-0 for the Kings. We get a power play for Calgary. That's killed off. The shots are 6-5 for the Kings with 8.5 minutes left. Things get punchy behind the Calgary Flames net. Better second half, I thought, for the Flames than the first. And then things get punchy on a hold by Talbot late in the period, but it's 1-0 LA after one. Second period, early press by the Kings, and they score. Short side glove hand, Arvidsson from Dano and Moore at 0:54, which is 54 seconds, of course. And I wanted to mention this here. The PA announcers that I speak along to are the Carolina announcer because of Teuvo Teravainen. The way he says the names are great. And the LA Kings announcer. LA Kings goal, and the way he just punches out goal, I think it's great. So I might say it myself, even though I'm not a Kings fan. It's fun to do it. But at any rate, yeah, I lip sync to it usually, or if nobody's around, I just say it. All right, Kings press at 4 minutes. The shots are 5-3 for the Kings at 6 minutes. 7:42 in. Akil Thomas with his third goal already. He scores from Roy. He tips that one in. They had some pressure going on. And good for Akil Thomas. That's 3 goals in 5 games for him. Too many Flames on the ice. The Kings go to the power play. That becomes 53 seconds of 5-on-3. That's killed off. 5 shots on net. Flames press with 5 minutes left. Miramanov defends a 2-on-1 late, just before the horn. So that keeps it 3-0 for the Kings. Third period, there's an early press by the Kings. Power play for LA. I think this is where Miramanov closed his hand on the puck. But not just that. He claps his hands on it, grabs the puck, and then throws it. And I'm like, that is the most obvious penalty I think I've ever seen. And I watched hockey in the 80s. So, yeah, that power play's killed off. The shots are 5-1 Kings at 6 minutes, but the Flames get on the board. Huberdeau with his 12th. How does he only have 12 goals? So, Miramanov and Zeri with the assists at 8:26. That's also, I think, only his 50th point on the season. We'll have a talk about Huberdeau when we look through the how the Flames missed the playoffs part of the schedule next week. So the Flames press at the half. Arvidsson's denied on a 2-on-1 rush. Kempe to Byfield gets blocked. Goalie pull happens with 3:30 left, and not long after, of course, at 16:46, Arvidsson puts one dead center of the net. Kopitar and Doughty with the assist, so Arvidsson with a couple of goals. The Kings win this one 4-1. They clinch a playoff spot. They go to 42-26-11 with the win. The Flames 35-38-5 with the loss. Shots on net, 10-8 Calgary in the first, 13-7 LA in the second, 9-7 LA in the third. Final shots 30-24 for the Kings. Power plays 0 for 1 for Calgary, 1 for 4 for LA. Hits 13-10 for Calgary. Not a physical game. Markstrom saved 26 out of 29. Talbot, pretty good. 23 saves on 24 shots at the other end. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.